Live streaming is on.
क्या है हर चीज तो भी उसमें भी नहीं है ना, हम लोग को भी ऑनलाइन से देखना पड़ता है। ये दिखना नहीं चाहिए बोलते हैं, इसको देखने से कुछ नहीं होता। अच्छा आप देखिए जैसे आपको finally today I teach you, hello students, today I'm going to teach you Arthur Miller, his drama All My Sons. I have covered till this one. What Williams refers to leaves of grass that I have covered last week. So today we begin with this Arthur Miller's drama All My Sons. Second paper. No? So Arthur Miller, his full name is Arthur Asher Miller. He was a prolific American playwright, essayist, and a prominent figure in the 20th century theatre. He is among the most popular plays of Arthur Miller are All My Sons, Death of a Salesman, and The Crucible, and A View from the Bridge. He thought himself a writer of the social plays, but with a strong emphasis on the moral problems of American society, and often questioned the psychological causes of behavior. So we find all these three characteristics in his play or in his drama, whether it is All My Sons, which is in your syllabus, or his other dramas. So, first of all, it is a social play. It deals with the society, and then there is an emphasis on the moral problems in the American society, and also it deals with the psychological behavior of the people of America during that time. His drama is built on the realist tradition of Henrik Ibsen. So he is a follower of Henrik Ibsen in his exploration of the individual's conflict with society, but also borrowed symbolist and expressionist technique from Bertolt Brecht, who is a German playwright, who is a German dramatist. And this writer, that is Henrik Ibsen, he was a Norwegian playwright. He belonged to Norway, and he was also a theatre director, and he is known as the father of realism. So we find the influence of both these dramatists in the writings of Arthur Miller. First one is the Henrik Ibsen, who was a Norwegian dramatist, and the second one is the German theatrist, or you can say German playwright, whose name was Bertolt Brecht. Now we come to this play. This play, All My Sons, it weaves together three elements. First is the Greek themes, then is the Ibsenian structure, and a modern medium into a triumph of the well-constructed reality. Then we also see here the intertextual reference. We find that Arthur Miller has written this play in a realistic style. That means it is different from the plays which were written earlier, either during the Romantic period or during the Victorian period. We find realism, that means whatever is present in that time, whatever the problems of the society or of the behavior of human nature or the degradation of the moral values of life. So that has been presented in a realistic form in the plays of Arthur Miller. Arthur Miller himself was a very well-known American playwright. And a problem play, and this is also known as a problem play, which he has written in the manner of Henrik Ibsen, because he was a follower of him. Then the work of Ibsen influenced All My Sons structurally also, as well as Ibsen applied the principle of Greek theatre that stresses the influence of the past on the present. Means the past and the present, means the influence of both If there is the influence of the past, then how it is in the present day. Then we also see in his plays Miller was an Ibsenian also because he wrote characters like Joe Keller who fit the Ibsenian mold. He followed this dramatist Henry Ibsen, so therefore we call it Ibsenian. So he has also written the characters like one of the characters Joe Keller who fit into this mold of tragic Greek heroes in their contemporary world. And All My Sons was particularly perceived as an Ibsenian because of its structural and thematic similarities to Ibsen. Then Mrs. Alvey, there's a line from the drama. She says, "Ghosts, but I almost think we are all of us are ghosts, pastor, manders. It is not only what we have inherited from our father and mother, and that walks in us, but it is all sorts of dead ideas and lifeless old beliefs and so forth. So, All My Sons owes a great debt to Ibsen's The Wild Day, that is Ibsen's drama, and in which a young man returns home and slowly discovers the heinous secrets about his family. Then another thing which we find in this play is that Arthur Miller has followed the Oedipus text, the death of the salesman, and All My Sons in both the plays. So you have in your syllabus only one play, but here also we see that he has followed the Oedipus text from the Greek theatre. That is incapability to accept the reality, unable to bear the truth of their situation, often using excuses or delusions to harbor oneself from. Then it has an affinity to cast blame on others. This is a character in the play, is in denial for practically the entire play, unable to believe that he is the reason of Bill's failure. Then there is a downfall and Oedipus to discovers that the full truth about killing his father. This is the Oedipus text. You might have also learned about this when you were reading Shakespeare. So that about killing his father and marrying his own mother after a series of hits, and the past does determine the future. That is the past with the present. The historic past or past from wherever he has taken the reference of allusions, and he has blended it with the present situation. Likewise, the father-son conflict in which the son realizes that his father is a mere mortal and kills him directly or indirectly in one of the most classic tropes in drama. Then we come to the theme of this drama. The most important theme, or we can say the significant theme of this drama is realism. Realism as a literary movement flourished in the United States and Europe in the late 1800s. So, in response to Romanticism, which presented a version of reality that was twisted through human perception, realism marked an attempt to capture the truth about life, especially the ugly elements of truth that people would rather ignore. This that was present earlier also during the Romantic period or the Victorian period or what we call it as the Romanticism. But at that time it was not projected. It did not come out in the form of writing. People had those qualities or we can say demerits in their lives, but it was not projected. Like it happens. Suppose we can make a parallel, like so many things during this corona. This corona pandemic is an age people will remember it, just like all these ages. Because it was a very challenging year for everyone, and people have learned so much from it. So much. Therapy and charity. Everything people we have learned from that age. So here also it was as a response to the romanticism. Then realist literature is often associated with suffering, with disease and corruption because these are the elements of life that the romantic literature shield away from, with the hope that examining such unpleasant truths would lead to social change. So they did not reveal it, they did not bring it to the public. But these realist writers or dramatists of like Arthur Miller, who have preceded him, they have brought it to the public life. They have brought it to everyone. That यहाँ पे कोई भी चीज़ so they did not bring it to the public life. So now the reasons. Then there was the Second World War. So what was the influence of that war and on the people of America and also on the people of whole of Europe and world? So because of the influences after the Second World War, the impact of that World War on the people, what was the influence, what was the effect that the writer or dramatists like Arthur Miller, they have written in their drama. First was, it is difficult to underestimate the importance of the Great Depression and of the Second World War. War on the work of Arthur Miller and his contemporaries. So wherever there is a war, we all know whether it was the First World War or Second World War, या अभी हम nuclear wars भी हमने देखे हैं उसके बाद भी, या though this we can say this pandemic was not a war, but it was like a war. है ना, वॉरियर्स हम किनको बोले इसमें, जो डॉक्टर्स थे, जो लाइफ सेविंग, जो हॉस्पिटल में काम करने वाला एक एक व्यक्ति, we call them warriors. Why? Because they were trying to save the lives of the people. So it was not a war of arms and ammunitions, but it was a war caused by the virus. है ना, वायरस एक बॉम्ब की तरह था, जगह जगह मिल गिरा, तो it was like that. But now अभी वैक्सीन आ गया है, आ रहा है, अभी उसके भी इफेक्ट हम देखते हैं कि क्या होता है ना. We cannot say that we are totally safe. अभी इसके ऊपर भी बहुत सारा रिसर्च चल रहा है. So this was because of this war and its result and its consequences. One of the reasons of writing about the realistic drama. Then the second, All My Sons, like many of Miller's plays, is an attempt to shift to the values common to American families after the Second World War in order to determine what the good life truly meant in an age of rising economic circumstances. So this was another reason. Then specifically the war resulted in the death of Larry. Larry is a character, important character, major character in this drama, and caused the kind of difficult choices that forced Joe and Steve into their fateful decision to allow the production of cracked parts for American planes. Larry is actually the eldest son of this family, and he dies as a result of this World War, and it brings a lot of sorrow, grief to the family, and especially to the parents of this boy, of this man actually. Yeah. So although Larry's death is mourned dearly by everyone, including by Chris, his younger brother, Chris himself must live in the shadow of his brother's death. He must carry on with survivor's guilt. क्योंकि इसका जब डेथ हुआ और फिर इसके बाद क्रिस क्या हुआ था, he was in love with the girl, his elder brother, but he died suddenly, all of a sudden. So the girl who was almost engaged to him for marriage, she had to marry the younger brother. जैसे कि पुराने ट्रेडिशन के हिसाब से भी it is there in many of the countries कि अगर बड़े भाई की कोई रीजन से डेथ हो जाती है तो उसकी वाइफ को छोटे ब्रदर के साथ शादी कर दिया जाता है, so that she is in the same family, है ना. She is again, her life is saved and she is in the same family. नहीं तो she has to bear the tag of a widow, है ना. So this was, so he had to carry on with survivor's guilt this time. Then Joe admits that wartime productions was so stressful and he wanted his business to succeed so much. But the latter, another consequence of the war, causes Joe to realize that he has not only killed members of other people's families, other Americans' families, but indirectly a member of his own. Then Joe goes upstairs and shoots himself. He is another casualty of the war. Joe is, I think, the father of this boy. Thus, the war was not over when the peace treaties were signed. Instead, Chris, Joe, Steve, and others in the plane carried the war inside them. So, there was not only the war which was going outside, there was a war which was raging inside. That means inside a person. That is a psychological war. Now, conflict is going on in our mind. Like we can say during this pandemic also, we were so afraid, we were so confined inside our home. हमारे पास जो था हमने उसी में काम चलाया. हमारे पास इतने दिन बाहर जाने का कोई ऑप्शन नहीं. तब तो ऐसा लगता था किसी को देख भी लेंगे तो हमको कोरोना हो जाएगा. हम दूर से भी किसी को छू लेंगे तो कोरोना. छूने से तो हो सकता है because it is a contagious disease. But those things, those conflicts were going on in our mind. So it was like just like a small war, we can say. So these things were there, and the war was not over. It was going inside them, transposing into a morally fraught environment, the same life and death struggles they had once approached with a definite sense of moral purpose. So throughout the play, then there is the feeling that characters wish to put the war behind them, to forget the deaths of those they have loved and the horrible things the war has caused them to endure. So they want to forget that dreadful event, that is the war, which was full of devastation, which was full of destruction, which was full of dead bodies, which was full of persons they were losing from their own family. So that grief, that great sorrow, they wanted to forget. And by the play's end, however, the desire to move on has happened. So in the end, we find that still there was hope. Just as we have hope against hope, even in this pandemic, we are the survivors. And we all have hopes for life. Yes, tomorrow, if we have the vaccination and we are safe, we can continue our life. So this is the hope. So every person, he has to have this kind of optimism, this kind of hope. So it is the author, it is the dramatist who brings out amidst so much of, you can say, passivity or amidst so much of pessimism, he brings out a note of hope, a note of optimism in his readers, in his audience. This drama was enacted also on the stage many times. The play introduces questions that involve an individual's obligation to society, personal responsibility, and the distinction between private and public matters. And to cut yourself off from your relationships with society at large is to invite tragedy of a nature, both public and private, regarding the suicides, regarding the private. So, it has been explained by Arthur Miller that if you cut yourself totally with your society where you are living, so you become a person who is more stressed. It is obvious, it is just like a bottle. बॉटल के अंदर आप कुछ भी मान लो पानी डालते हो पेबल्स डालते हो स्पून तो वो पूरा भर जाता है भरने के बाद उसका और कोई स्पेस एयर के लिए भी स्पेस नहीं होता है तो सिमिलर इज अ माइंड इट गेट्स बॉटल्ड अप इट नीड्स पैसेज टू कम आउट मतलब हमारे मन में जो भी है हमारे दिमाग में जो भी हमारे दिल में जो भी अगर बहुत सारे नेगेटिव थॉट्स हैं तो वो बॉटल अप हो जाएगा और जब वो इरेक्ट होगा उसका रिजल्ट है इसी तरह से सुसाइड होगा डिप्रेशन होगा गलत चीज और भी नेगेटिव चीजें बट इफ वी ट्राई टू शेयर इट विद द पीपल विद whom we are living like our parents our friends it can be teacher also there are so many things आपका पेरेंट्स टीचर्स मेंटर मेंटरिंग वाला वो होता होगा कि जिसमें आपको पूछा जाता है कि आपकी क्या समस्या है रिलेटेड टू योर एकेडमिक्स रिलेटेड मे बी टू योर पर्सनल लाइफ है ना तो ये सारे स्कूल्स में तो रेगुलर होता है कॉलेजेस में भी जब नैक की बात इसकी पहले कराया जाता है we have also done it so we remember So why? Then if you talk to somebody whom you know, maybe your neighbors, maybe your friends, maybe your family members, or maybe any person who belongs to your society. So you feel little bit relieved कि हमारे मन में जो बहुत सारा स्ट्रेस था वो थोड़ा बहुत रिलीव होता है एंड दैट इज व्हाई वी हैव दिस सॉर्ट ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन. तो अभी जैसे पैंडेमिक में हमने बहुत सारी नई चीजें सीखी. वी कुड नॉट मीट ईच अदर. घर के मेंबर्स भी नहीं मीट कर सकते थे, है ना, if they are not living together, है ना, but we could communicate with each other. अब ये कम्युनिकेशन बहुत बड़ा है. हमने देखा कि ऑनलाइन कम्युनिकेशन इतना बढ़ गया इस पीरियड में क्योंकि हम सबकी खबर लेते थे और लोग भी हमारी खबर लेते थे. We were afraid of this virus. We were afraid कि हमारा प्रियजन जो है वो जहाँ भी है वो कैसा है, कैसी है, तो हम उसकी खबर रोज ले रहे हैं 2-3 दिन बाद. So this has increased because you could share your problems. You are already in anxiety, already stress में हो, so if you could share, then that gets. फिर इसके बाद thus Joe attempted to cover up his mistake at the plant and blamed it on Steve in order to protect the Keller family and ensure their financial success. But Joe's fatal decision leads Steve to land in prison, ruining Annie and George's family. Its later unintended consequences jeopardized the married happiness of Chris and Annie and caused Joe to commit suicide. So it is about this family, the relationship of the each and every member of this family, that is the Keller family, K-E-L-L-E, apostrophe S-R. Then Joe cares primarily about the happiness of his wife Kate and his son Chris, who works with him in the family business. And today, Larry's being missing means that the family must be permanent, high alert in case he should return. She hopes for a safe return at any moment so that the family can be whole again. Then Chris, for his part, wishes to soothe all parts of the family, with all members of the family. He works hard for his father and wants his mother to give up the idea that Larry is coming. His mother, she cannot accept this fact. It is very true. A mother who is most attached to her children, physically and emotionally, because a mother gives birth to her children. So physically also she is maximum when she is attached to her children, and emotionally also. She cannot accept the fact that her eldest son is no more. He is dead. So the younger son, Chris, he tries to soothe and he tries to make her realize this fact that he is no more. You have to accept this fact and you have to live with it. Then Annie wants to marry Chris, but seems worried about her own family. Her father, Steve, was a subordinate of Joe Keller's in the business, but an accident at the plant during the war caused Joe to blame Steve. Yes, we can also call it that this is a domestic tragedy, and we can also call it just as this other place like Death of a Salesman is a American Dream. So this drama also, All My Sons, is also an American Dream. The term American Dream first was used by the American historian James Truslaw Adams in his book The Epic of America, which was published in the year 1931. And the American Dream has become a widespread term to describe the American way of life, the ideal by which equality of opportunities available to any American, allowing the highest aspirations and goals to be achieved. So this is the American Dream, that is democracy and equality for all. That everyone can hope, everyone can aspire for whatever goals he has in his life. And then it is an idea that suggests that anyone in the US can succeed through hard work and has the potential to lead a happy, successful life. So this was the American dream at that time, because people are paid for hours, for working hours, वहाँ पर घंटों के हिसाब से काम करने के लिए पैसे मिलते हैं. Whether you do any kind of work is not seen as work done by a person who belongs to a lower strata or upper strata. Even an educated man can do the work of a cleaner or a person who keeps our surroundings clean, or an educated lady can do the work of a babysitter. तो उसमें वहाँ पर कोई इस तरह से डिस्क्रिमिनेशन नहीं है. Any person, whether he is educated or not, can do any type of work, but they get the worth of their work hourly. Hourly पैसे मिलते हैं, है ना? तो इसलिए वही अमेरिकन जितना है कि हम जितना पैसा कमा सकते हैं उतना पैसा हम कमाएं to lead a happy and successful life. So only one thing was wrong here. If we realize it, that you cannot buy happiness with money, है ना? पैसा वो लोग बहुत कमाते थे, फिर उसके बाद उसको गलत तरीके से इस्तेमाल करते थे, and that is why they have to suffer. So anyway, this was about the American dream, and then it is a domestic tragedy. It can be defined as a tragedy where the principal actors in the tragedy are normal, lower and middle class individuals rather than the noble individuals. In earlier dramas, we have seen the kings and the queens and the princes and the princesses. They were the main characters. But here, in the drama of Arthur Miller, we find that the characters have been taken from the middle and the lower classes of the society. They also have the same aspirations and hopes in their lives, and therefore it is known as the domestic play, or we can call it the realistic play. A domestic tragedy is therefore tragedy that an audience can relate to more because it features everyday life and issues that the audience is more likely to be aware of and perhaps to have experienced themselves to a certain extent. It exposes the intricate and complex web of lies and deceit that humans so often build up around them, and the tragedy that so often strikes when those webs are torn down. So, what I was telling you, we build up a cobweb around us. यानी हमारा we all put अभी तक तो ये वायरस ने ये मास्क लगा दिया सबके चेहरे पे, पर असली में भी हम सब मुखौटा ओढ़े हुए हैं, है ना? Because we have to play different roles. That is one reason. But otherwise also we do not want to reveal the truth of our life to all, even to our family members. है ना? So, and then and there starts the friction, है ना? All the problems. So this was there in this tragedy, that we all have an intricate and complex web of lies in a Jew or deceit, यानी धोखा, है ना? So if we do not have this, life would have been very beautiful. The significance of this title, All My Sons. What is the significance of this title of this drama? As a result of his greed and deception, he has lost the respect of his son, Chris, a young man of principles. His younger son, who is a man of principles, principles मतलब ideals, यानी उसके कुछ सिद्धांत है जीवन में जो अच्छे सिद्धांत हैं, तो वो खो देता है कौन? उसके फादर, क्योंकि he lies to his son and he deceives his son, and therefore he loses the respect of his son. Keller's son Larry, elder one, who was shaped by his father's reprehensible acts, committed suicide. तो फादर ने जो कुछ ऐसा एक्ट किया था जिसके कारण उसका एल्डर सन, he also felt very much ashamed, and therefore in place of killing his father he himself commits suicide. So that is another reason for this title. All My Sons, all means his mother actually, and when this boy dies, elder son, he commits suicide. She says she is not able to accept that fact. And she says that all the sons of America are like my own sons. But could she understand the anxiety, the stress, the problem of her own son? अगर आप अपने बच्चे का दुख नहीं समझ सकते, तो आप दूसरों का दुख कैसे समझेंगे? So therefore, this is the title, and another reason is that in addition to these sons, however, Keller's family takes direct responsibility for all my sons, the soldiers who died flying the planes sent into combat with his defective parts. His moral responsibility extends beyond his immediate family. So this is the moral responsibility which they take up, and they think all the soldiers who have been fighting for America as soldiers, so they are like his sons. Then we come to the character sketch. We have these important characters. Kate Keller. Kate Keller is Joe's devoted wife. She is the mother of these two sons, Larry and Chris. And the next one is Chris. Chris is a family man who is devoted to his parents. Chris is the younger boy, younger son. Then comes Joe Keller. Joe Keller is the family man whose world does not extend beyond the border of his front yard or the gate around his factory. He is the father. Then we come to the next one, Annie. Annie is the beautiful girl who is in love with Larry. But he dies, and then she is being married to the younger son, that is Chris. Then George. George is Annie's brother. Then there are some symbols which have been used by Arthur Miller in this drama. One is the Larry's tree, a tree named after the elder son. After the World War and Chris's return to work for Joe, the family planted a tree to memorialize Larry in the backward. Although Kate never gave up hope that Larry might return alive, his mother, whose name was Kate, she always believed that her elder son will come back alive. She could not accept the fact that he is dead. So they have planted a tree, a small plant earlier, and then it grew up into a big tree as his memory in their own house, in the backyard of their house. So that is the symbol which has been used. And then in the beginning of the play, the tree is found shorn in half by the wind in August, the same month Larry was born. तो जब शुरू में ड्रामा के ये ट्री को दिखाते हैं तो ऐसे दिखाते हैं कि उसके आधे पत्ते जो हैं वो कट गए, झड़ गए हैं, क्योंकि ये वही मंथ था जब लैरी मतलब पैदा हुआ in the month of August. तो छोटा सा दिखाने के लिए to symbolize that. Kate views that this as a sign that the killers have forgotten Larry and abandoned the thought of his return. So later, whenever this mother of this boy, Kate, she used to go and see that tree, which has been named as Larry's tree, she could make her mind that yes, I have to accept the fact which has happened. Then there are some other symbols like the dry socks. In a conversation with Annie at the close of Act 1, Chris recounts a brief story of a GI in the war who offered Chris his last pair of dry socks. Socks, goje, so maybe it has some importance in the play. So someone, when he went to the war, he offered his last pair of dry socks. क्या होता है war में जो soldiers जाते हैं उनको ऐसे ऐसे जगहों से जाना पड़ता है कि उनके जूते और मोजे दोनों भीग जाए. तो भीगे हुए जूते मोजे पहन के चलना या बहुत देर तक रहना बीमार हो जाते हैं. तो जो dry socks carry करते हैं so that whenever possible लड़ते तो कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते ये सब change. पर जब वो लड़ने के बाद after the war when they are sitting they can change their socks and shoes, तो उसके लिए extra socks होते हैं जो dry. So he offers it to Chris, and then Chris views this gesture and these socks as indicative of a kind of care and brotherhood of soldiers showed to one another. And Chris used the idea that this brotherhood is now in the post-war materialistic culture. So these socks, they symbolize care and brotherhood. So it is a symbol of care and brotherhood. And to Chris, the dry socks are an uncomplicated way of representing camaraderie in a battle. People who are going for a battle, soldiers who are fighting in a battle, they become very good friends. इसको camaraderie बोलते हैं, यानी they are comrade to each other. They keep each other's secret or secret of the whole plan of the war. They cannot share it with the people outside it, not even with their own families. है ना, देखिए एक स्ट्रेटेजी होती है वॉर की, प्लानिंग होती है, उसके अनुसार उनको काम करना होता है. सो ओनली दे कैन शेयर विद ईच अदर, उनको कॉमरेड बोला जाता है. तो ये कॉमरेड के बीच में जो दोस्ती है, जो शेयरिंग है, दैट इज नोन एज कैपिटल. सो and then working in the family business and coping with his father's guilt in the manufacturing fiasco are not so simple as this act of kindness and charity. And Chris bemoans the fact that in his adult life, he must confront a moral universe far more complicated, far less black and white than the one in which he took solace during the conflict. He expressly बाद में he goes for a war and then he applies this dry socks as a simple hand that is for care and camaraderie, that is for care and brotherhood during the war. Soon he applies in his life. So with this we can say that we have already gone through, we have touched the important points of this drama. Is it for your detailed study? Detailed study के लिए नहीं ना, not detailed होगा ना. Just go through it and the questions, yes, questions which can be asked, है ना. One can be on the significance of the title of this, and then some more questions can be asked. Write a note on the appropriateness of the title of the play, All My Sons, or the same question can be asked. Do you feel that the title of the play, All My Sons, is appropriate? Justify your feelings. And another question can be discuss Arthur Miller as a social dramatist based on your observations on All My Sons. ठीक है? As a social drama. ठीक है? और Arthur Miller can be hailed as a social dramatist. Then discuss and read the symbolic, verbal, and structural excellences in Miller's works that fits Arthur Miller as a dramatist or as a playwright. This question can also be asked. And write an essay on Arthur Miller as a dramatist or on Miller's contribution to the growth of America. So इसके बाद सिर्फ आपका एक ही चैप्टर रहता है, जो एक और ड्रामा है आपका. So that we will take up next week. मुझे यहाँ पर एक दिन का हो गया है. I think you have the options of Hemingway's everything is fiction. Okay. Drama नहीं, fiction. It will do Sound and the Fury. William Faulkner's Sound and the Fury. ठीक है? Yes. है ना? Next. Okay. Thank you. आप मेरा नंबर लिख लो, तो मैं आपको ये जो अभी पढ़ा रही हूँ ना उसको भेज दूँगी, है ना? क्योंकि इस पे मुझे बुक भी नहीं मिलेगी, तो मैं आपको भेज दूँगी. 95 84 नाम भूल गए. ठीक है, इसको कहीं यूज नहीं करना, है ना? क्योंकि देखो बेटा अभी क्या है, हमने इसको तो कि असली में नहीं है, वो तो मेरे पुराने स्टूडेंट को तो तुम तो सवाल करेंगे क्लियर कर दो. और भी आपको कुछ चाहिए रहेगा, क्योंकि we are also teaching from this online. क्या करेंगे, कुछ नहीं मिलेगा. So next Thursday आएगा. शायद मैं आएगी वैसे, बिकॉज़ मैं आती हूँ. हाँ पक्का है